All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined today remotely from the woods. You can see the screen behind me. Joined as always by Randy Angston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how we doing? How's the weather? It's not the same.
It is beautiful up here. I am at HQ North East in a cabin that I purchased off of another deal that we did, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, I wanted to get a podcast, and we don't want to miss anything urgent, not urgency, but like
Consistency.
systematic frequency and consistency is key when it comes to podcasts. People are expecting the Tuesday, Thursday release, and we don't want to let them down.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, we got a good one today too. This is obviously a hot topic, and I know it's something that we both personally believe is a differentiator. So,
Yes, let's get into it. But before I do that, I want to let everybody know there's still time to grab the recordings from the Fit Pro Growth Summit. If you're still looking to get, like you were there almost, because the recordings were done so well by Nick and the team, you can head over to winninggym.com/replay, pick up those recordings, write notes, and go win. So those are still available. But today, guys, we're talking urgency. Urgency is what I would almost, and I might even put it up there as number one, as the X factor for people's success. And why do I
ooh,
say urgency? Well, there's just a different level, I guess, of getting shit done when people are urgent. I've seen some of the greatest ideas die because people weren't taking action. They weren't urgent. They feel like they have more time to do things. And this, if I relate this back to a gym owner, urgency for you is urgency getting out of the hole. Stop just thinking it's going to change. Go be urgent about it. Show up early, get the things done, go do the hard work. Urgency is like, to me, you can have all the talent, but if you're not urgent about it, nothing happens. And
yeah, that's.
so
I mean, what's that old saying? Like the graveyard is like the most valuable place on earth because that's where ideas go to die. I mean, like
basically,
think about it. I mean, how many people go to the grave with that great idea, that next great idea, or and not even to the grave, but just go weeks on end before taking action or getting started on just checking the boxes, moving forward, getting something done. Yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think urgency and consistency are probably the two most valuable traits of the entrepreneur. And as we work with more and more business owners, it is a bigger differentiator than people give it credit for. We talk a lot about Parkinson's law regarding
yeah.
finances, right? But it's equally as imperative when it comes to time. If you give yourself 30 days, it's going to take you 30 days to accomplish that goal. You give yourself 30 minutes and you're going to knock it out in 30 minutes. That's just the way that it is. And so, yeah, to your point, it is a massive line in the sand. And I couldn't agree more that it might be the leading differentiator between success and
Yeah.
mediocrity.
And I don't know if it's people are lazy. I don't know if they don't trust themselves. I don't know if it's the fear of the unknown. I don't know if it's if the mitigation of risk. But people aren't urgent. And I don't know if this is just me or you see it too, but I'm always urgent with everything. Even like getting out of the house to go up here. Like let's go, what are we waiting? Like I don't know what it is, and I get in these arguments with the family sometimes where it's like, what are we like? Let's go. Let's get in the vehicle and drive off. There's no double checking the doors or double checking everything else. Like, and the same thing for your business. You're gonna. It's never gonna be a perfect time to take action. Sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like action trumps perfection. You've heard all the cliches, but it is urgency that makes the difference in most people's success or failure. I just see it like when we were at the Growth Summit, we had pitched the Iron Circle to the group, and there was people that obviously wanted to join. Their numbers reflected it. There was no reason not to, but they just weren't urgent. Now they waited to the last day and the last minute of actual time, and they took the action, which is commendable. But there was people in the beginning like walked up and handed it in before it even was done. And so
Yeah.
those are the urgent people. There's just two
Yeah.
different sides, right? And again, I
Well,
don't know if it's
they're the ones that turned around and attacked all the information, and they've already seen some benefit as well, right? And so I think that in each kind of category, you'll see, there's varying degrees of urgency. And I think, and that's what I wanted to get to. Do you think that urgency is tied to, because I know that you and I are very logically based, right? When we make a decision, like when we look at a situation, I think the ease that we have is that it just makes sense to us and we move forward, right?
Mhm.
Logic, and then that emotional aspect, when somebody has an emotional tie to it, or they start to allow those emotions to play a factor, I think, do you think that that's where a lot of that urgency gets lost, is people that get stuck in the way that they feel about it as opposed to the way that they should act and respond to the best interest of their business, or along those lines?
I think it's going to be unique to each person, but I'm thinking through just some scenarios. Yeah, you could talk yourself out of anything, I guess.
Sure.
Even the logic brain, you could see logic on both sides of a particular decision. It's I don't know. You got to go back to the athletes. This makes the most sense to me. The guys that really want it, they are urgent. They're up. They're after it. They're not like taking vacations. They are getting shit done. And so the folks that can use the emotion, I don't know, man. I'm just not that way. So I could see why somebody could say the emotion could drive their decision. You mentioned in the beginning, we're very logic based. If it makes
Yeah.
sense, we're going to do it. And if it doesn't make sense, we're not. And we just take the emotion out of a lot of the decisions. So I don't know. I think this is really here's the overarching message I want to tell everybody here is the Kobe Bryant quote that God is so ironic. After you hear it, you're like, yeah, I this is very ironic. He said the biggest mistake we make in life is thinking we have enough time. And of course it's ironic because he didn't have enough time. But that's why you saw him up early, working hard, getting shit done. He was urgent. There was an urgency about a guy like him or Jordan or any of these other athletes. But the same urgency, I could see it in some entrepreneurs
Yeah.
and gym owners, and some I can just don't see it. They just wait for things to happen versus attacking. So maybe it's the Ben Newman attack mode. Maybe it's something else. When it's laid out in front of you, it's very easy to see. There's some
Yeah.
people that aren't urgent, and there's some people that are very urgent. And if you look at the success between the two, it's the urgent person that gets the shit done and wins. That's at the end of the
Well,
day. That's
yeah.
the story.
Yeah, I mean, there's specific examples that we've gone through with gym owners that have come in and like, again, a pitch or a sales call or something like that's gone across, and they have the information they need in order to make the decision, and it goes on a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and if it's trailing on that that long, that far, I instantly start to think of how they make decisions in their business every day, right? What does that carry over to? And to your point, I believe that is, and again, they could go into a different direction, but more often than not, they haven't made a
Just
decision to
don't
go
make
anywhere.
any decision.
They don't
Yeah.
make any, exactly, and that's the problem. And we've said in the podcast a million times, we'd love for you to work with us, but if something, if you want to take a different path, take the path. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and kick the can down the road, or have that opinion that it's coming, it'll be there, or
Yeah.
the lack of urgency is going to kill the business. It's going to limit your potential at minimum.
Hmm.
I mean, there's so much more out there than people give it credit to, and sometimes it takes nothing more than just getting up with some gusto, and like moving into motion. See it all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the takeaway, guys, as we wrap this up, is look, there's going to be shit that happens. You need to look at the first. You need to know where the hell you're going, right? You almost cussed right there. You need to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going in this game, then of course start there. But when you do, go freaking hard, 110 miles an hour. That's the quote of the what I tell the team. It's like make a decision, just make the decision 110 miles an hour. Even if it's wrong, you
Yeah.
could course correct. But staying still and staying stagnant, it's the worst thing for you and for your business. always be taking action, always be moving forward, and live with freaking urgency. Stop being lazy. I don't know. Anyways, a little bit of a rant, from the cabin up in the woods.
That's yeah, yeah. Put your feet up and talk about urgency.
Yeah, let
No,
me get a
but to that point, right? Like when we started the podcast, we could have easily taken the week off. We could have easily not continued down that path or considered our podcast something of, with urgency, but we didn't. We wanted to deliver on our promise, and so we made these things happen. And so
yeah.
there is always levels of urgency that you can take, take to your life and effort and apply that level of consistency across the board. It's a massive opportunity to win, man. I'm with you.
Let's go. All right, guys. That's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals, and when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.